Hello, everyone. I'm truly excited today. I've got a very special guest with me. She's an acclaimed author, a travel writer, a cultural commentator, and also an architect of honest conversations. I have the one and only Miss Shunali Khullar Shroff with me today. It's truly an honor and privilege to have her on this candid chat on the new episode of SDJ podcast. So, welcome, Shunali. It's truly amazing to have you on this chat with me today, and we're going to share insights on your journey and all the amazing work that you've been doing.
Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So to begin with, my first question would be, you've written almost about love, privilege, parenting, travel. But tell me honestly, are people today really living their real lives, or is it only curated on Instagram stories?
I think it's mostly stories. Real life has taken backstage,
Yeah.
and it continues to be messy. It continues to be complicated. It continues to be unglamorous, unpaid. Um, Everything is so performative these days, right? And the feed is performative, of course. But I think the tragedy is not that people curate. I think the tragedy is that they've started believing they are this false version they've created.
Right.
And then their life is not matching up to that, which is leading to a lot of disappointment, angst, anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think, your book basically talks about modern chaos? So in today's perfect life, actually, is that a biggest scam according to you?
Uh, what is the scam you mean?
No, I'm saying like people in today's modern lives, this actually a modern chaos. So you think people in today's life pretend that they have a perfect life. It's actually a scam?
I think that as much as it is, I mean, it's not an intentional scam. I think that it is the tide that everybody is swept away uh, with Siddhant.
Right.
I think the bigger problem is that even if you may give a certain impression of your life, and see, let's not pretend that before Instagram, people were absolutely authentic and honest. No, people did want to give a certain idea of who they were and how they lived, whether it was with phony accents
Yeah.
or it was with a lifestyle they couldn't afford. Okay, that's always been a thing, and North India is famous for that, right?
Okay.
People, always like to show that they have a lot more than they actually do. But when uh, Instagram, social media, starting with Facebook first, became this canvas where they could live their dream avatar.
Right.
They started doing that. But I think the bigger problem has been after AI, which is that as it is, everything was performative.
Right.
Now people are performing intellect also. So I realized that, okay, I'm a writer and somebody might be an aviation expert, and I don't expect them to write as well as me, just as I cannot fly a plane or spot a plane as well as them.
Right.
But people are all writing using AI to write captions, to write essays, to write emails. Everybody's English has overnight become flawless and perfect.
Right.
Okay, and everybody's sounding the same.
Yeah.
So I think that is a greater problem. And I believe people who are still in the dating life are even using AI for communication with each other on text, because you know that a lot of people today, including us, we set up this meeting and everything first via text.
Right.
We are all a text dependent
Right.
civilization now. And in that, when people, supposing I talk about T.S. Eliot, and the person on the other end of the line has never heard of T.S. Eliot, but they quickly Google or go to AI and make a quote about what they liked about T.S. Eliot.
Right.
And then the whole conversation happens. So a fake version of you is interacting with a fake version of somebody else. I mean,
Right.
that's really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up for a very for disappointment, when you meet each other and you realize, and no wonder then relationships are not going to work.
Right. You've traveled around the world, but do you think today travel is more about experience or just content creation?
Yeah, it's a bucket list actually. People are, I'm not saying everybody does that. There are still people who travel for the love of it. And I think we all have gotten so used to sharing everything, Siddhan, that no experience is ever complete, and I'm guilty of that myself. Okay.
Okay.
I do post on Instagram, I do share my thoughts, my feelings, but a lot of my sharing comes from me being a writer, wanting to share my experience with the world.
Right.
Uh, and I'm not letting myself off the hook by that, but I'm just saying that that is the nature of every travel writer.
Okay.
Okay. A large part of writing that I do is travel writing. But I also share other experiences that need not be shared, like I'm sitting on a LitFest panel.
Right.
I'm sharing about that. So sharing has become very natural to us as people. So some of what people share online about their travels is from a genuine love of sharing that, oh my God, I discovered this amazing cafe. Why don't you come and see it? But Landor, for example, is a very special place to me. It's also figured in my new novel, In the Wrong Way Home. There's a whole section set up in Landor. So I had gone to Landor just before COVID. My last trip there was before, my last holiday before COVID was in Landor. And at that time, Landor was a different place. I recently visited it about 8, 9 months ago, and there were traffic jams, and all people wanted to do was stop by in front of the famous landmarks that they've seen online and take photos there and post about it. It was littered. The monkey menace has grown worse because people are littering the streets with food packets. There were honking traffic jams, and no one was coming to Landor really for the love of Landor.
Okay.
They were in Landor for the love of wanting to show and take pictures in those famous sites and landmarks of Landor. And again, that's really strange. So, you know what I did in response to what I saw there and how destroyed that place has become, trashed? I promptly went down to my Instagram. I had a very high viewership of that particular reel that I had shared from Landor in March of 2020. I took that down
Okay.
because I felt that we're all responsible for what's happening to the planet. And also, travel has become about bucket list. So you can say bucket. I hate the word bucket list now.
Right. Okay.
So yes, it's not so experiential. It's more about bragging, and it's more about competing, and it's more about, content.
Right. Also, I see in terms of today's modern marriages, you think is it actually evolving or actually collapsing, as things are really changing so fast, what is your take on
Hmm.
that?
Look, the generation that our parents belong to was very different from ours. But there was lesser difference between, say, my generation and my parents' generation than there is between mine and Gen Z and now, of course, Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
In some ways, I find people surer of themselves
Okay.
and surer of what they want, and they are not afraid to ask for it, which is a good thing. Uh, People are starting their relationships very early in life. So by the time somebody is settling down, as they call it, or getting married, they've been through quite a few, romantic relationships. Hopefully, it adds a little layer of maturity to uh, their experience
Right.
because we were fairly naive. We had relationships, but marriages happened uh, fairly quickly. So if you got married in your late 20s as a woman, you were called a spinster.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was a lot of pressure on men to settle down as well.
Right.
So I think to that end, I find that this generation is a little more aware, a little more experienced
Right.
at the starting point level of marriages. But on the other hand, everybody seems to have a foot outside of the door because everyone feels that because of online curation and because of dating apps,
Yeah.
I think plenty people I speak to feel that there's always a better man or a better woman waiting for them outside of their marriage.
Okay.
So a relationship, they're not fully committing to the relationship, and you know that there's an option to opt out of it.
Okay.
And I think that India preserved its sanity uh, because people, when there was no domestic abuse, when there were no obvious red flags, okay,
Yeah.
marriages survived because of patience, because of the ability to have therav, to give each
Yeah.
other time to evolve. But people are impatient now. And because they're impatient, then the relationships aren't really lasting very much.
Right.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I can't say because some people, it's better to be like that than to be stuck in an unhappy or dissatisfied marriage also.
No, and also I think that everyone nowadays has become very independent. I think everyone is working, and
Yeah,
that also changes. Probably, I think in my parents' time or my grandparents' time, we didn't have,
yeah.
people, or they were not allowed to work, with male-dominating
Yeah, women
societies.
didn't have that financial freedom, na?
Yeah. So now I think it's changed, in terms of also, people are more independent financially as well. So I think that
Yeah.
also can be a reason I feel that, they don't want to take shit
They
from.
are, and because women are financially independent now,
Yeah.
uh, they are no longer stuck in long-suffering marriages or dissatisfactory marriages. They are thinking that if I don't get emotional fulfillment from you, emotional and physical fulfillment from you, financially, I'm taking care of my own bills anyway. Why should I be here?
Yeah.
And which is why I find men are really perplexed. In fact, I wrote about it in a column in Deccan Herald
Yeah.
that women have moved on. The men are bewildered,
Right.
you know.
Also, I want to know, what is that one place that completely broke your perspective in terms of luxury?
Hmm. I went to the North Pole exactly a year ago.
Okay.
And by North Pole, I mean I'm not a sailor. I went to the closest that a human beings live close to the North Pole or can drive to the North Pole. So that is 78 degrees north. North Pole is 90 degrees, right? So that is a place called Svalbard. From there, if you take sails and you drive closest to the fjord, which is closest to the North Pole, uh, is where we rode. But Svalbard was where we had gone to, and it's a very stark place. There's no tree. There's. It's just white. It was covered in a blanket of snow, and we had gone in April, which means the sun never sets. There is no citizenship there. Anybody can come and live, but you can't give birth there and you can't die there.
Okay.
No burials because the land is such that it throws the grave back up. Okay. It's also a very environmentally sensitive zone. But over there, I think luxury today isn't really that luxury suite at an LVMH owned hotel. Okay. Uh, it's no longer, uh, you know, a Rolls Royce that's coming to fetch you at the airport. I
Right.
think luxury today is being in a place where you feel connectedness. It's where you are reminded of who you are and what this planet is, and how precious it really is,
Right.
and silence, being able to deplug yourself from social media, not wanting to capture every moment that you're seeing around you, and just being in that stillness.
Right.
And I felt, and not just me, like we were in a group, we all felt that in Svalbard on this trip. Most extraordinary. I intend to go to Spiti Valley. I haven't been there, but I would call that another kind of luxury, because luxury, as much as it is in where you sleep and the thread count of your sheets, it's also about uh, a rare experience now.
Right.
It's about what you can see that many other people don't have the privilege of seeing and experiencing.
Right.
And I really did feel that in Svalbard. I wanted to hug the planet. I was like, oh my God, what a precious planet we have, and why don't we care about it often enough?
Yeah. Also, do you think that feminism today, is actually misused or misunderstood?
No, it's not misunderstood by feminists. It's misunderstood by people who think that feminism means that we hate men.
Okay.
Feminism means that this sky, half of it is yours, half of it is ours.
Right.
It means that 50% of this human population should have the same rights as the other 50%.
Right.
Uh, it means that we should have equal job opportunity, we should have pay parity, equal voting rights, we should have reproductive rights, we should have control over our own bodies. And I think it's only misunderstood by people who haven't bothered to explore what it really is.
Right.
That's what it is. I think that mutual respect is a very big tenet of feminism. And I've heard certain people uh, say that we often say this in our conversation on my podcast also, that, patriarchy, when we say patriarchy, misogyny, it isn't that only men are patriarchal. Patriarchy is perpetuated equally by women who are gatekeepers of this society, where there's so much inequality between men and women, and they feel as though if they speak up against women, they will gain some favor from men. It's not like that.
Right. No, I
Or
think,
they feel that because, I had to do it the hard way and I had to create a place for myself in this corporate system. I had to shatter the glass ceiling to be where I am. I better not give other women a chance, let them also struggle.
right.
So very, very highly professionally well-placed women also engage in that kind of patriarchy, or it's inverted misogyny, that I've suffered so much, why shouldn't she?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
Also, I want to know, do you think like successful people fear irrelevance more than failure?
Oh, yes. See, the thing is, failure is an event. You can get over it and come out of it and create some new work.
Right.
But irrelevance is something which is like an obituary. It's like you're finished. It has sharper edges.
Right.
Also, because, again, Siddhant, we're living in a time where if you don't have some kind of fame, if not wealth, you're not counted.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that fame and wealth is celebrated when you should celebrate people's intellect, you should celebrate their creativity, you should
Yes.
celebrate their humanity, you should celebrate their kindness.
Right. I couldn't agree more with
But
you.
that
You
doesn't
should.
get eyeballs.
Right. Also, I want to know, like, you think are women more freer today, or just pressure to have it all?
Okay, see the pressure to be fit and look a certain way.
Hmm.
Hmm? You're supposed to have like the most toned fit bodies. You're supposed to do a fantastic job of raising your kids, because therapists are constantly telling them that if you have a bad personality, or if you have some trauma, then blame it on your mother
Right.
or your father. I think that we have the pressure to do the emotional labor of taking care of our parents, our in-laws. In India, even working women today who support families are still doing greater emotional labor and investment than men do. It's just an Indian thing, right? Um, and there is a lot of judgment, not just other people's judgment. Like, I think we are judging ourselves a lot because there's so much emphasis on perfection. Now we're not supposed to age also.
Right.
Forget about being free. Now, if you age, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You know, if you age, that means you haven't done well enough in life to take care, sit in salons or clinics all day to, do your
Mhm.
transform your face.
Right.
So I think it's really exhausting because somewhere this culture is too much into photogenic moments, even for women in their lives. Okay. But there is menopause, there is mood swing, there is, you don't have to be a good mother. I have a friend, and she was saying to me that I hate being a mother.
Right.
She's a mom. She hates
Mhm.
being a mom. And she said that when she had a child, she'd want to look at her child for a whole year because she was like, "You've ruined my life." Now, she said this to me in confidence, because women are afraid to go out and say that because so much is expected of us.
Right.
So uh, it's not easy. Okay, I think the only way we can cope with this is by accepting imperfection,
Right.
accepting that at a certain age we will look older. I cannot look like my daughter who's 23 or 18.
Right.
We don't want that pressure on us. We don't need these filters online. Um, of uh, I mean, honestly, I would love to show up for a conversation on a podcast without putting a speck of makeup on.
Right.
But I don't. I do put a little bit on. You can see I'm wearing a little bit makeup even right now,
Right.
because I know that if I show up looking like that, that's not an aesthetic even I'm used to seeing online any longer. And there's an expectation to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should be able to, I mean, I'm just wearing lipstick and some eye makeup, but I should be able to show up without that.
Right.
And I have in the past, by the way, and it's very interesting. There was a very, very big there was a very, very big international company that came to India, and they wanted to collaborate with me because they said that, your voice carries weight, and it
Yeah.
was a very big fashion brand. We would love to collaborate with you. So their PR head and their company marketing head wanted to have a Zoom chat with me.
Mhm.
And I showed up for the Zoom chat, and just after my workout, without putting not even a moisturizer on my face.
Right.
And I got disappointment and disinterest in their faces because they expect me to look like the
Mhm.
tip top at all times, but we can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, sounds like a rant, but you know what? Talk to any woman, they'll all tell you the same thing. The pressure on us is a lot more now.
Also, I want to know a little bit about your book, that you've written. I saw a very cool reel which you posted on your Instagram, where you're sitting on in a cab and it's
Yeah,
going round and round trying to find your own home. I
yeah.
want to know how did you think of the name, especially of that book? And if you had to rewrite, anything in that book, what is that one thing if you'd like to change, which you're thinking that you've written the book but you cannot, but if you had to change something, what would it be?
Hmm. I did not genuinely have a name for it for the longest time. Um, and I was coming up with sort of names that were really not clicking in my mind. And then I was meeting up with a friend of mine who's a very well-known satirist. She's the British author, British of Pakistani origin, Moni Mohsin, and she's quite well-known in the literary world. And I was telling her that, Moni, I don't have a name for my book yet. What do I do? And she said, tell me what's your book about. So I told her what the novel was about. And before I knew it, we had a name for it. So she gave me the name. And I've mentioned that in my acknowledgements. And the name just fits. Also, because it really is the theme of the book. I shot that reel because I am one of those people from my generation who loves coming up with new ideas on how to interact with people on social media. Okay, it's an extension of, I would say, creativity. So I was sitting and thinking that how nice it would be if I could present the name of the book through this reel. And there's the documentary filmmaker, person who's in his early 30s. I sat with him, he's quite talented too, and we jammed and we said, Chalo, let's do this. And it was fun to do it. I enjoyed doing it. And if you notice the building names that we've zoomed in
Yeah.
on in the reel, they are themes from the book. There's Wits End, and
Okay.
there's Peace Haven,
Mm.
and in the end, she reaches a place called Manzil.
Right.
But then she realizes that's also wrong, so the car is left by then.
Okay.
Uh, that was that. What would I redo in my novel? I think that by and large, based on the reviews that I've heard and read, I think it's working. So I think I wouldn't want to upset the apple cart, frankly. Yeah,
Okay. Great.
yeah. People have
What
really liked it as it is. They've enjoyed it across all newspapers and publications. The reviews have been fantastic. So I think I'll just leave it there.
and also can you tell the viewers, where can that book be purchased from?
Oh, it's available everywhere. It's published by Bloomsbury. That's a large publishing house. It's available on Amazon, in bookstores.
Okay.
Um, it's on Kindle, and very soon it'll be on Audible as well.
Okay. Love. Also, I want to know, what is the most controversial opinion you've held back, according to you?
Hmm. This self-expression these days that you see online and offline,
Yeah.
a lot of self-expression today is actually just narcissism.
Yeah.
People have become really narcissistic, and they think that's self-love. Gazing in the mirror all day and being rude to people around you,
Yeah.
uh, demanding space from people who are already giving you space. They may be your parents, they may be your spouse or sibling, but because somehow being selfish is being confused with self-expression.
Right.
I think narcissism, sorry to interrupt, narcissism is the greatest pandemic of our time.
Okay. Also, I want to know, I'm sure you've set certain targets for yourself. Like today, if I say Shunali, probably 5 or 10 years down the line, what are the kind of goals and achievements you're still wanting to achieve? Um, you want to say anything on that as well?
I have spent a large chunk of my life raising my children, and I am about to become an empty nester. I really want to utilize my time to write meaningful work. I want to really now give every every bit, or I want to juice and use up every drop of that talent that I have as a writer, as a creative person. I really want to focus on myself now.
Okay. If your life had a title, what would that book be called?
Oh,
That just summarize the
that
entire
would
life.
be called One Day at a Time.
Okay. And what is that one belief, you've had at 25 that you completely disagree with today? And the one thing that you still are figuring out?
Let me think this one. What is the one belief? Um, Okay. I think at 25, I had this view that life is meant to be completely free of troubles, problems, that, if you're a good person, it'll all work out for you. I had this belief, I'm just tapping my screen because it goes off my, yeah. I had this belief that a perfect life can be lived and had, and that is what gives you happiness. But now I know that happiness is inner work
Right,
and that there is no life that is free of troubles, nobody's.
right.
And that you have to steel yourself and learn to overcome them.
Okay. So now that comes to a fun segment. This is the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you quick
Oh
questions
God,
just to
I'm
know
so bad at rapid
just to
fire.
know
Oh my
you
God.
more personally. So, this is going to be but it's very going to be very cool and candid and casual. So, to
Okay,
begin
sure.
with, first is going to be love or ambition.
Uh, well, actually, if you look at my life, it's been love, but now I would say ambition.
Okay. Truth or peace?
Uh, Truth. Peace
Okay.
can come after.
Okay. Luxury to you is.
Oh God. Actually, luxury to me is a holiday in a mountain resort
Okay.
with my closest people, my mom, my sister, my husband, my daughters, my two dogs.
Okay.
That's luxury for me.
Okay. If today there was a biopic written on you, you
Oh
would
my
think
God.
which actor or actress would, play really well, your character,
Ah,
combining all your
uh,
personalities as well in one.
I guess Kareena Kapoor. No, I don't know. This is a tough one.
Okay. Um,
This is a tough one.
okay. So if you had to, you can just pick
I mean,
anyone,
you know
but
what? As a writer, I don't think of myself like that.
okay.
So if I was an actor, I would say that so and so can do my biopic, or an artist. But this is a tough one. Even Kareena is probably not the right answer. I
Or
have
I
no
would,
idea.
or I'll probably just say Shunali plays herself.
Yeah, okay. Good answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were given a superpower for a day, what would it be and how would you use it?
Today I would end all the wars that are happening in this world,
Right.
and the binaries, and the fracturing of love between different communities who
Yeah.
believe that they are one nation.
Right. Okay. And what is your go-to music, when you're having a
That sounds like a
superpower?
Miss India answer, but look at what's happening. We're in the middle
Yeah.
of these
It
wars.
is crazy. Yeah.
And it's very easy to read about it, Siddhant, or see
Yeah.
visuals of it, but those are lives.
Right.
There was that mass grave of
Yeah.
school-going girls.
Yeah. It's,
So, I can no longer say that my superpower should only be about my life, or some. I think we can no longer afford to
yeah.
look away.
Right. Also, I want to know, if you're having a stressful day, what is the go-to music or the genre of music you go to?
I listen to Pandit Bhimsen Joshi these days, and I listen to Ustad Vilayat Khan Sitar.
Okay.
I listen to classical music. It's a new thing. It's begun to calm me.
Okay.
And of course, I listen to some Western classical as well, but that's the go-to music these days. In fact, you realize you become old when you're
Right.
sitting in a car and your child is sitting with you and she's syncing a Bluetooth with your music system and she's playing Drake.
Right.
And I'm like, Yeah, I'm not in the mood for Drake today. It's stirring me up too much.
Right.
Can I have something calmer?
Okay. And what is your current favorite read that you're reading currently? What is the one book that you're enjoying right now?
Uh, I just finished reading Arundhati's new book,
Okay.
Mother Mary Comes to Me.
Okay.
The book that I really thoroughly enjoyed, though, among the books I've recently read was Kiran Desai's The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny. You know, sometimes you look for that book, you can lose yourself too,
Right.
because you become them and you start living that life. And it was such an immersive experience. Firstly, such a fat book, so it's a commitment. I really did enjoy reading that. And actually, at any given time, I'm reading a whole bunch of books.
Okay.
Um, so I do like one on my Audible, I'm listening to Autobiography of a Yogi.
Okay.
That is my book that every few years I revisit. I just listen to some of it. That also calms me down. You know, it's like talking to a guru and getting some gyan on life.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. Lovely. So that comes to the end of the episode. It's so nice to have these insights from you, and you taking out the time to do this candid chat with me. Truly an honor and pleasure to have you, Shunali, and hope to see you on the other side whenever I'm in Bombay. We'll connect
Thank
and
you.
definitely we look forward to seeing you and wishing you all the very best for all your future endeavors. So,
Thank you for having me, Siddhan. Thank you for having me.